Kol Hashana Halachot B'chol Yom. The two mitzvot of the day is we're here in Yeshivat Shalom Bayit. You really want to have Shalom Bayit? Send your husband to Yeshiva. Learn the Midrash every day. And we're going to be discussing today the two mitzvot Deoraita, mitzvah number 69. There is the Isur Deoraita prohibition, cursing a judge. Obviously, we'll understand and try to figure out what's going on there. And also, Isur Deoraita number 70, blessing Hashem's name. Chas v'shalom. Those are two Isurim. And 69, now to curse a judge. Number 70, blessing Hashem's name. Also, so we talk about this, by the way, this mitzvah is sponsored. Lulu Nishmat, Yecheskel Netanya ben Arav Avishai Halevi Shlita. And Bezrat Hashem, also the Refuah Shalom Kol Israel. What's the name? Refuah Shalom Kol Israel. Chaya Bat Leah. Bezrat Hashem. So we're going to do mitzvah number 69, the following. אסור לקלל שופט, וגם אסור לברך שם השם. למה אסור לברך? אוקיי, תבין. שלא לקלל הדיינים, there's an issue deoraita to curse judges. שנאמר, as it says over there, שמות 22nd פסוק, פרק 22, כ"ז, 27 פסוק. אלוקים לא תקלל, אלוהים לא תקלל. Over there, the language is, it says Elohim. The pasuk says Elohim, you should not curse. What does that mean? ופירשו לדיינים כמו, as it's explained over there, the Elohim does not really mean Hashem. Elohim means the judges. Hashem, as it says over there, on the 22nd chapter, pasuk het, the 8th pasuk. Asher Yoshiun Elohim, Yershiun Elohim. So over there also, as Elohim, this is Elohim, will make him Yershiun, will make him evil. They will declare him Rasha, right? And over there it says, who's declaring him Rasha in this world? Obviously not Hashem. Hashem doesn't talk to us, right? Otherwise we would not have a choice. Why doesn't Hashem talk to us? Why doesn't Hashem talk to you, Markel? Because once Hashem talk to you, finito halas, you have no more choice. You will have no more choice. You clinging to Hashem. Once He talks to you, halas. So therefore, obviously, when it says in the pasuk, and Yarshiun Elohim, it says in the pasuk when the evil person will be declared Rasha, it's talking about judges declaring him and not Hashem. Now the Rabbi explains, why are the judges called Elohim? And Hashem wanted to introduce to us into this nation, a whole nation, a very strict prohibition. The isur of blessing of Hashem, blessed be He, bless His name. So that's why Hashem used the word Elohim over here, and judges are called in that name to stress on you how horrible it is to bless Hashem's name. Now, those who are don't understand what it means, blessing Hashem, we don't want to say the other word. It's Lashon Tzagi Nahor. We're not allowed to say the word. You should not curse judges. And then we say, at the same time, in the same token, we say you shall not bless God's name. That means what you really mean, what you're relying on the judges. Understand? You should not curse the judges. So that's why we say you shall not bless Hashem's name. Really does not mean over here blessing. So those who don't understand it. Okay? Over there it says clearly the word Elohim, lo tikalel, you shall not curse. So again, over here we're saying Elohim means the judges, but we understand what it means. Okay. As it's brought down also over there in Vayikra, in another place, 24th chapter, Pasuk 16. V'nokav Shem Hashem mot yumad. Anyone who it says v'nokev, the word v'nokev is the same thing. Don't curse the Talmid Chacham. Okay, it's the same thing v'nokev. It's not Shem Hashem. Anybody who's nokev, the name of Hashem. Huh? No, it's not. It means that, right? We don't want to say it, but everybody knows what it means. Anybody who does that nokev Hashem mot yumad. You see the Torah is very strict not to use the word kuf lamed, right? Kuf lamed lamed, and when it comes to Hashem's name specifically, when it comes to the judges, we're using them again. Who are the real judges? You have to understand, when you stand in front of the judges, you stand in front of Hashem. Hashem is the real judge. But again, the Torah is very careful not to chas v'shalom to what's his name. As we know, I should do a lot of tshuva on that. It's an avera. You're not allowed to say a Jew is a rasha. It's a very big problem. Big problem. But we always get angry, and that's why we forget Torah. If somebody, sometimes you see me in a mental block, I don't remember something. Yeah, I'm supposed to know it, and it's like in the tip of my tongue, but I forget. Why? Because sometimes we speak out of anger. Unfortunately, we have to work on ourselves. When you talk out of anger, you forget Torah. At Kedei Kach, I was sitting, and because I was a little bit upset with Yom Tov, something happened, so I was sitting in Shmini Atzeret on Kiddush night, and the Kiddush night I didn't say Shechianu. I had a safek nizrakabo. A safek came into my mind, and I didn't say Shechianu at night. I got confused. Then I said, you know what? I'm confused. I'm not going to say it. But it's halakha. You're supposed to say Shechianu on Kiddush, right? מה זה שכחת? לא, התבלבלתי. When the person gets angry, the more it gets מתבלבל. So the answer is, the solution is, if you don't want to look like Haaretz, you don't want to be Haaretz, and you don't want to say, I don't know, Rabbi, what to do, stop getting angry. And all those people who learn Kabbalah all day, they want to figure out how to learn Zohar, all the intricacies, but yet they get angry left and right all day. Those people are mamash crazy. Anyway, so anybody who's nokev Shem Hashem, he gets ha'onesh aval ha'azara mikan. So how do you know that the person, the Torah says, a person who's nokev, right, is a harsh term of blessing God's name. There, a person gets killed, right? Mot yumad. What is it killed? What murder do we kill him with? How do we kill him? Mot yumad, we already explained, chenek, we strangle him. So the Torah over there tells him that he gets strangled. So the Chacham asks the question, so how do you know that you're not allowed to bless Hashem? How do you know that there's a prohibition? I understand that you get punished. It says over here, what's the punishment? The person gets strangled for being nokev Hashem. He's blessing Hashem's name. So how do you know you're not allowed to do it? Over here, in our Mitzvah 69, it tells us the Azara is a prohibition to, even though we're using as you say, Lashon Sagin Ahor, we want to say, don't curse Elohim, the judges. Really, it also implies to Hashem's name. וזהו שאמרו רבותינו זכרם לברכה, תמיד עונש שמענו הזרה במניין. Our sage is always going to be in this Gemara. When you learn a Gemara, you should know this is how to learn. First of all, they're going to say, okay, we see the punishment, but what about the warning? העניין הוא מפני שאם לא תעבור לנו בדבר מניעת האל, אלא שיאמר עושה בדבר פלוני יענש כך וכך, היה משמע שהיה רשות ביד כל רוצה לקבל העונש ולא יחוש לצערו לעבור על מצווה ולא יעבור בזה כנגד חפץ השם, יברך מצוותיו. Okay, so again, the Chachamim the Hashem was very meticulous to teach us that the person should not be transgressing in an averot, and also he is going to be amplifying on us the warning to stay away from the averah. ויחזור דבר המצווה כאין מקח וממכר, כלומר שהרוצה לעשות דבר פלוני ייתן כך וכך ויעשהו, או ייתן שגמו לסבול כך ויעשהו, ואין הכוונה על המצווה כך, אלא שהאל ובתנו אמנה מדברים והודיענו, ונתן העונש המגיע לנו מיד מלבד העבירת רצונו. So he explains over there how the strictness, how the punishments are laid out to us, right? It's not like the Goyish courts, the Avdil, all the Goyish courts, they're telling you the punishment of a crime. They don't send out warnings. If you take a look at all the laws of the Goyim, there is no warnings, just a crime. Somebody murders, gets this punishment. Somebody does this is the punishment. They have outline laws, but they don't have what Hashem, the beauty of Torah, is that the Chachamim cannot teach you a punishment, will not implement a punishment unless it has to be clearly pointed out in the Torah that you're not allowed to do that punishment, that Avirah. Meaning, yes, you could learn, this is the law, you know that Hashem will punish you for certain Avirah. The person who does Avirah, Hashem will punish you. But still, nevertheless, Hashem is very careful first to give us a warning that you're not allowed to do it. Not like all the other Davdil Elef bin Billion of the Lord, the Goyim, they just make crazy laws on their own, and they don't understand what they're doing anyway. Without a warning, they're just telling you this is what happens to a person when he commits a crime. Not in our Torah, Baruch Hashem. משושי מצווה להסיר מעל הדיינים יראת הנדון והתקרבתו. Now, the problem is, what's the point of this mitzvah, mitzvah 69? The rabbi says, very important, the dayanim, the judges, should be careful. Right? They're going to be scared. What are they going to be scared? They're going to be scared that people will be cursing them. So if a judge is scared that people will curse them, and we know the words of Am Yisrael, of HaKadosh, every Jew, even if he's a reform, that's why somebody was upset with me. I said, who causing the problems in the Jewish community? The Reform Jews, the conservatives, all those crazy fake people on television that they claim to be Jewish, but they're not even Jewish. Jewish is only defined by Shomer Shabbat, Mitzvoth, Tahara, purity. And these guys, they're saying they're Jewish. They're really not Jewish. They don't live like a Jewish life. Like, let's say right now, there's actor, singer. He's talking the Jews. And the problem is what people say. What do people think about right away when they say the word Jew? They talk about people like me, the ones that look like a Jewish. But that's not true. The ones like me, the Jewish people like me, are not doing anything, not in charge of anything. We're in charge of anything here. The Goy Jewish, the Jews who are saying they're Jewish, they're in charge of all the problems and causing problems. Really, they have nothing to do with us. So that's why I'm trying to distance ourselves. We're not involved. It's all those fakers. But these fakers, even though they're fakers and they have no Yirat Shamayim and they're mamash goyim, they act like goyim, they eat bacon in the morning, they do all the goyish stuff. They talk about Reform Jews on television that cause all the problems in the world. But unfortunately, when they open their mouths, they cause problems. When they open their mouth and they say bad things to happen, it will happen because they open their mouth. That's why when you hear bad news report on the newspaper, news report, so you are as a Jew obligated to say good things. It will be good, and you daven to Hashem and you beg. So the mouth has a lot of strength. So the Dayanim, unfortunately, will be afraid of people coming in front of the Dayanim. And what they're going to do, they're going to say, oh, this guy is going to curse me if I'll say a bad judgment. Or even if they judge a rabbi, let's say, a Kabbalist. They'll be afraid to pass in halakha. They'll be afraid to rule because what's going to happen? They're going to say, this Kabbalist is going to curse me. So the Torah says no. The Torah says the judges don't be afraid. Why shouldn't you be afraid? Because it's asur for the person to curse you. So if the guy wants to curse you, right? Because you render the judgment according to halakha that you understand, you should not be afraid, and it will not work. Why? Because he's doing an avirah by cursing you, and that's why it's not going to work. That all the explanations over there. Now let's see what happens if a person does. What happens is a person cursed the judge. Did he do anything physically? No. So we have a rule. The rule is nobody gets lashes until he does something physically, except for this. In this Avirah, he cursed the judge with Hashem's name. And he said, it says Hashem's name, curse you to the judge, and the witnesses hear it and will warn the guy not to do it. What do we do with him? We give him 39 lashes. Because why? He used Hashem's holy name profane. Not allowed to use Hashem's name, even though he didn't do an action. Here you see a beautiful, already right away, one of the, what's his name? Mitzvoth over here, that you see that the person didn't do an action. Usually they don't get lashes, but in this case, because he profaned Hashem's name, cursing a dayan, a judge, he gets lashed 39 times. So he says actually he gets two times 39. One, so Rabbi says when you curse a dayan, 39 lashes, malkut. נותנים לו מלכות, על זה שקילל דיין. נותנים לו פעמיים, 78 lashes. one because he cursed the Jew, and you know how to curse a Jew. If a person goes outside and curses a Jew with Hashem's name, he also gets 39 lashes. And the other one because he's... the warning, of course. And then...
לא הבן אדם שכותב בשם מיכאל מותו, הוא לא יכול להיות עד, צריך עוד אחד עד לידו.
כן, of course. They're talking about two witnesses that gave him a warning, don't curse the judge, and he didn't listen, so he gets twice 39 lashes. Why? Because one, he cursed the Jew, and second, because he cursed Dayan B'Israel. He cursed the judge, which is a Surah Deoraita, number 69. Number Mitzvah 70. Love the Birkat Hashem. The Shosheh Mitzvah, as we already explained over here, that there is an Isur of blessing Hashem's name. לפי שמתרוקן האדם במאמר הרע ההוא מכל טובה. A person who blesses Hashem, chas v'shalom, he has no good in him at all. וכל הוד נפשו נהפך למשחית. And his entire being and his soul. How can you take a neshama, which you have a neshama from Hashem, and now your neshama, that person's neshama, cursing Hashem kivyachol? How's that possible? So it could possible because his neshama is completely distraught. This person is completely distraught. He is off the rails, as they say. You know who nichshav kebehemot. He is even considered like an animal, a lowlife. A lowlife. How does a person come to stoop down to such a thing? Cursing God, blessing God's name? כי באותו דבר ממש הבדילו השם יתברך לטובה ובו נעשה אדם. What did he do? It says over there, and Hashem breath, put a breath in Adam. He instilled the breath in him. What is that? Ruach nishmat Elokim. The spirit that's within him that makes us stoke. It's what? It's a spirit from a part of Hashem. And what does he do, this Rasha? He takes Hashem's part to curse Hashem's name. Shalom. Hamash. The whole purpose that Hashem gave us such an ability to talk is to separate us from the animals, to separate us from all the other beings. And what? This evil person who blesses God's name, he is separating himself. He is separating himself from knowledge. How can a person use Hashem's neshama, kivyachol, to bless Hashem? How is that possible? How did you use Hashem's neshama that's inside you to bless Hashem? What is going on? He's like a worm, this person. Therefore, the Torah warns us. What is Hashem? He is all about good. And all his desire is to be good for us. And therefore, any person, any speech pattern that prevents the greatness to come into this world, he is, Has v'shalom, opposite of Hashem's will. Medinei mitzvah, the rules of this mitzvah, כגון מה שפירשו שאין החיוב עד שיפרש את השם המיוחד, שהוא יוד and hey and vav and hey, the whole issur of blessing Hashem's name, the person has to say that name which we have, the yuds, and as we described, or shel aleph dalet nun and yud, right, or the Shem adnud. Kidad miktzat mefarshim, as the sages say, this is the name he has to say. That he has to say, Has v'shalom, those words, that Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey bless Hashem, or he says Aleph Dalet Nun Yud bless Hashem, right? Those are the Isurim. מה שאמרו בכלל, שבכלל יום ויום שבכל ביום ויום שואלים את העדים בכינוי. יקה יוסי ואת יוסי. So the Dayanim have to be very careful, as you see that even in learning, and we write down this mitzvah, when we don't use the word kuf lamed lamed, and we don't say, we're very careful that even Dayanim, when they approach the situation in the Beit Din, they were supposed to be, they're using also like a code names. Chas v'shalom, to pronounce Hashem should be blessed. Chas v'shalom, to pronounce it the other way. Nigmar adin motziin kol adam lachutz. So the judges as that really even though that they're not allowed to use Hashem's to really hear exactly the repetition, or the witnesses are not supposed to be really hearing the repetition, but we have a rule. We have a rule, and Beidin Nishma'en Betargiman. There is no translation. There is no hinting in the judge in the Beidin. The Beidin really has to hear, unfortunately, the entire what happened, or all transcribed, transpired over there. What do they do in Beidin? They ask everybody to leave, and now only the 23 judges are there. And what do? They hear the witnesses. The oldest of the witnesses will speak. So now he has to say, Rahmanan Litzlan, the exactly same words that he heard. And then what happens is, so now we Mekayem the Torah obligates the judges to hear exactly what happened. So they have to hear exactly, not in while they are judging the whole case, they should not speak the words out specifically. But when they have to hear exactly the exact words. So there he says it. Right? The judges, as soon as they heard the specific words of the testimony, they right away do the kriyah. The second witness should not repeat the words. He should just scream out that I have heard the same thing. If there was more than two witnesses, the same thing happens. The sages say, if a person, the moment that he uttered those evil words, the truth is warned him, and he still uttered those words, and even within a mamish millisecond, he goes back on his words, still there is no moment of tshuva on this, he gets stoned. מי שגידף השם בשם מעבודה זרה, הנה פוגעים בו, ואם לא פגעו בו, הוא בא לבית דין, אינו נזכר עד שיברך בשם השם ונשמה. So let's say, Chas v'Shalom, somebody uses Avodah Zarah names to talk against Hashem, or curse Hashem in those words. Now, anybody who hears him could literally kill the guy on the spot, but the Beit Din cannot do anything, and cannot punish him. הטעם שאינו נזכר, לפי שהוא בעצמו מכיר אפילו בית הכעס, שאין דיבורו אלא שטות גמור. And why don't they get stoned? Right? You might think, no, Marke, if somebody says, may this Avodah Zarah curse Hashem, Has v'Shalom, right? No. So you might think, oh, this guy Rasha, he should get stoned right away. If you hear him while he's talking and you killed him, no problem. You're okay. No, Beit Din is not going to punish you. But when he comes to Beit Din, he says he used Yoshka's name to curse Hashem. Why does the Beit Din punish him? Other Rabbi should punish him, right? No, over there it's a joke. He's an idiot. He's talking nonsense. Yoshka is being fried upstairs over there in number 2, and it's talking nonsense, so we don't punish him. So if a person who hears such a person, go and kill the guy and to stop him, prevent him from continuing. The Avirah of blessing Hashem's name is everywhere and any time. Somebody transgresses this Avirah, so it's this punishment by Beit Din of stoning for blessing Hashem's name only in Eretz Israel and only by the judges who are smuchim. However, today we are all b'chutz la'aretz. We don't have the dayanim who are smuchin. Marchekin kol Israel mimenu umecharamin oto. This individual should be sitting in cherem. He's not allowed to daven binyan. We don't accept him to anything, and for sure, we don't go to reformed shul to make paris. Shabbat shalom.